Testing. 1, 2, 3. Check. Test. Testing. Asparagus. COVID. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check. Testing 1, 2.
Okay. Okay.
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 10:59 a.m.
Okay.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen live stream, where today we're going to be making Henry's vegan Korean cauliflower buffalo wings. This is a vegan spin on the traditional dish called the buffalo chicken wings normally. For those not familiar, buffalo chicken wings trace their roots back to 1961 at a place called the Anchor Bar in Buffalo, New York, where, as legend has it, Teresa Bellissimo owned the bar, and at one point the son, Frankie, went out with all of his friends on a bachelor party to a strip joint and came back into the restaurant after it was closed and drunk, and asked their mom if she could make something for them to eat. And apparently they had an accidental order of chicken wings that were old and kind of nasty that nobody was really interested in eating. So she threw them in a Ziploc bag with some whatever spices she could find, cayenne pepper, red hot sauce, and I think she was trying to piss them off by making it really hot, but she made several pounds of it and gave it to these drunk kids, and they wound up loving it, and it became a sensation in Buffalo, New York, and eventually was circulated around the US, and I'm not sure if it's popular in Europe. Some of the European people can tell me if they eat buffalo chicken wings out there. I'd be interested to know. There's an alternate version of the story on Wikipedia, which says,
Okay.
Hey, thanks Joe Matha for subscribing. It says here that a guy named John Young from Alabama moved to Buffalo in 1948 and started serving his uncut chicken wings, breaded and deep fried, with a tomato base called mambo sauce. And he said that there was no place called the Anchor Bar. Thanks, Bubblins. And that whole myth about Teresa Bellissimo making buffalo wings for her son was all bullshit. So I want to talk a little bit about the internet. I get a lot of my recipes from the internet, and I get a lot of my information from the internet, but you can see a lot of really crazy stuff. There's people on there saying that, there's, 100,000 galaxies in the universe or more, and, I don't know what to believe when you read stuff out there. So just always take everything with a grain of salt, no pun intended. Pyrion 00, thanks for subscribing. And without belaboring the issue too much, I want to give you a little bit of update. I still am positive for COVID-19, and I did have a pretty. Thanks, Beelzebub. I had a pretty bad setback. I live in an apartment complex with a lot of people, and Slothland, thank you. I had a lot of leftover twice-baked Father's Day potato, or it wasn't Father's Day, but twice-baked French onion potato casserole. If you remember, I had a giant bowl of it, and I thought a nice idea would be to put a bunch of servings. Moscow Hatler, thank you for cheering. I thought I'd put a lot of servings on little dishes and then put them in some saran wrap and start handing them out to the neighbors, not thinking, of course, that I have COVID, and I wound up spreading it to everybody in the apartment complex, unfortunately. Wow, just a lot of lines on that one, but thank you. So that's very unfortunate. If you do have COVID, try to make sure that you quarantine. No matter how generous my motivation was, I just wanted to feed everybody in the family. But thanks, Burgundy. Let's see if you guys have any questions out here. Let's see. Blurry Little Quest says I did the right thing. Thanks. I was really just trying to help everybody. Fiend Chicken subscribed. Preheat the oven. This is not a dish. Thanks, Sophia, for subscribing. Sophia Salmasi, who does some streaming of her own. And Hottest Bear. So let's talk about preheating the oven. I had been preheating the oven. Scarecrow Killer, thanks for subscribing. I think I'm going to mention all the subscribers all in one go after I'm done, because I'm getting a little distracted, but I'm still a little new to some of the technical aspects of this. So preheating the oven is generally something you want to do before you cook pretty much any dish. That's just sort of a cooking rule of thumb. Chances are you're going to need to use your oven, right? You're cooking. So this particular dish, we're putting them on a wire rack and then grilling them. So we're not going to be using the oven. And I had the oven on preheated for a long time, and I started feeling a little lightheaded, and I don't know if it's completely safe, so I wound up turning it off. But worst case scenario, you're just going to have to preheat it, and it'll take 15 minutes or whatever, but I think we're going to be good. I want to thank some of these nice people who have been subscribing. Wow. Yanu Yan, Hentai Gaming, John of the Shreds, Scarecrow Killer, Hottest Bear, and Moscow Hatler has used 100 bits, and I still don't even know what a lot of that is. Hentai Gaming. But let's take a look at some of your questions. Magnexiol says, why is the camera so dark? Gosh, it shouldn't be dark. I don't know, maybe they mean dark like in terms of the darkness of Life? Okay. I'm just looking for cooking questions here, specifically. Beelzebub says, Henry, my knife set came with a bluntener stick, but it keeps getting sharper. I'm afraid to use it. What will we need? Will we need knives today? We are going to be using knives, but I tend to not use any sharp knives in the kitchen, and you'll be happy to know that we'll be cutting cauliflower, which cuts pretty easily. But the knife sharpening thing, you know what I do? If you need to sharpen a knife, you can take a pair of scissors, and you can take your knife, and you just get that place in between and go like this, and that's going to sharpen up the knife. A lot of people go out and spend thousands of dollars on a knife sharpener, and they don't realize they can just do it with a pair of scissors. So anyway, there you have it. That was, let's see, Cheese Slurp subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing. So again, you know, I've got COVID 3-day beard growth going here. I've got the weight of the guilt of giving it to everybody in my apartment because I was trying to give them some of my twice baked potato. So I've got a lot of things going against me, but it's a challenge, right? Just the same way that everything in the kitchen is always a challenge. So let's take a look at what we're up against here. This is our dish. This is the vegan Korean buffalo cauliflower wings. And that's Dildo Thief. So thanks, Dildo Thief. Okay, so this is what we're up against here, and it's going to be tricky. We've got some sauce there and some nice garnishes, and but without further ado, let's go ahead and get to work. I just want to do a little check. Check the roast beef cam here. I haven't seen roast beef in a while, so hopefully he'll reappear. He had COVID too, unfortunately. And for people that think I'm crazy, just look it up. Cats can get COVID, and I'm sure I gave him COVID, and I feel awful about it. Or he gave it to me.
Okay.
He can be a little more social than I am. Hags362, thanks for subscribing. Okay, so let's go over some of the ingredients that we've got. Just PJ. What we have here to work with today is we've got our cauliflower, which is the star of the show. We've got some sriracha. It's supposed to be brown sugar. I don't have brown sugar, but I have regular sugar. I've got some kikkoman soy sauce. Franz Schubert. Wow, I've heard of him. Okay, so kikkoman, soy sauce. We've got 2 tablespoons of water, which we can get, and I've got also some rice vinegar, some garlic here, as well as some ginger. And I've never worked with ginger that I can recall, so we're gonna have an interesting time with that. And for our garnish, I've got some green onions here, and also some sesame seed. So this is going to be fun. Let's go ahead and dig right into it. So for the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our cauliflower up into bits or chunks. So let's go ahead and just start getting into that. Oilybot and Ruji, thank you. So these are going to serve as our proverbial wings, if you will. I've been trying to get on a little bit of a health kick, especially since I'm trying to kick COVID. And it seems to be going okay. Let's see here. Let's see if you guys have any other questions here. Oh boy, yeah. There's just so many fucking. The chat thing is it's a real daunting thing. I'm gonna have to figure this out. So trackpad, today they use cauliflower as a base for things because it doesn't have any taste. I guess, I don't know. That's another thing, is I can't taste anything because of the COVID. So Microsoft Excel. This kind of getting. I'll be honest with you. Obviously I've been cooking a very long time. I have not done a lot of work with cauliflower, and I've heard that it's a little tricky. But that said, this seems to be going okay. I wish I would have used a slightly larger cutting board, because as you can see, this is kind of overflowing. I think that's probably pretty good amount of cauliflower. So this is going to serve as our base and our wings. Does anybody know how I can get this? I want to get it to where the thing scrolls. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if it's the camera, but that cauliflower looks a bit cummed out. That's USB 1. Could be. Kirosa, be careful, my knife looks sharp. This is actually called a paring knife. It is sharp, but I've been doing this long enough that I know how to avoid. There's actually a trick where you want to use the knuckle. So I'll show you here. Actually, that's a little sharp, so I'm not going to do that. But all right, I think we've got our cauliflower here. So the recipe says we're going to put this cauliflower into a Ziploc bag, which I have here. It's not Ziploc the brand, but it's a generic version, but that doesn't matter. So let's just literally start putting our cauliflowers into a Ziploc bag like so. And we're going to combine our cauliflower by shaking it up for a couple of minutes. Hey, thanks, Raised on Rambo. I've seen that name before. Stop, Drop, and Bear can't afford Ziplocs, so just use the normal plastic bags and staple them shut. Yeah, but that certainly would work. You just want to make sure that they all get completely combined here. XX Gingy wants to know if you can use broccoli instead. Probably not. Broccoli and cauliflower come from different families. I think they're both considered crustacean, but they're from different genuses or whatever. Okay, so I think these are pretty well combined at this point. Next, we are going to whisk together in a bowl. Shit, I didn't get a bowl ready, but I can get one ready now. Our sriracha. So we want 1/4 cup of sriracha sauce, which I've got here. Thanks, Yo Aaron. So we're going to do 1/4 cup of sriracha. This is hot stuff, by the way. Thanks, RE Cake 7. Oh shit, this is a third of a cup. So that's too much. So that's not going to work, obviously. I'm just going to take this off and Alexa, what is what hold on, how would you phrase this? I have a third of a cup. I want a quarter of a cup. Alexa, what proportion of a third of a cup is a quarter of a cup?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, a half of a third of a cup is 1/6 of a cup, or more easily, 8 teaspoons.
8 teaspoons. I should have just done teaspoons. Alright, I've got an idea here. I've got a teaspoon here. So we're just going to see how many 8 teaspoons is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you count too. 5.
Okay.
6. Thanks, Paris. 7. And 8. You know what? It's weird. It looks like I accidentally put the exact correct amount in there. Okay, so we are good on sriracha sauce. The next thing we're going to be doing is adding, well, it says a quarter of a cup of brown sugar. I've got the regular sugar here, so I think that sounds like a lot of sugar, to be honest with you. I don't know where my quarter cup thing is. Alexa, how many tablespoons is 1/4 of a cup?
0.25 cups is 4 tablespoons.
Okay, 4 tablespoons. Sugar. Again, it's supposed to be brown sugar. We don't have brown sugar, but we're going to get through this. 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. So, Alexa, how many cups of soy sauce? Wait, hold on. Alexa, how many quarters? Wait.
Here's something I found on the web.
Alexa,
According to
how many tablespoons is 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce?
0.25 cups of soy sauce is 4 tablespoons.
Okay, 4 tablespoons. So it's the same as it was for sugar. Okay. 3. If you're doing this at home, you can tell I'm sort of being a little liberal when it comes to the ingredients. I've got sriracha. They say you're supposed to actually use something called Frank's Red Hot sauce, but I don't have any of that. So, Purple Donut Fillings Fruit asks a question here. Let me go back and see that. Is a dry tablespoon the same as a wet tablespoon? No, I don't think so, actually. I think they have different measurements for both.
Okay.
All right. Tyanster just subscribed, and so did Charzad Hart. So, Trackpad says sriracha is hard to come by in a few markets. From what I know, some operations have still been slowed due to COVID-19 precautions in the factory. Okay, so Trackpad is talking about about supply issues. Limmer Lord, thank you. Let's see here. Is it possible to cook without an apron? I don't like to. Dank Chatter says good work so far, so thank you. But going back to Czech says, is it possible to cook without an apron? I would say you could use paper towels, but you're going to need some place to wipe yourself. It be Brian Yo. I think this will really perk up the neighbors if I deliver a sorry I gave you COVID gift. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'm going to be apologizing for sure. So let's see here. We have next on the list, we want to add our sesame oil, vinegar, garlic, ginger. This is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but let's go ahead and do it. Hey, Gary Busey. All right. So of sesame seed oil, we want 1 tablespoon. That's this stuff. 1 tablespoon. We've got our 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. This stuff is also a pain in the ass to find in the supermarkets, especially like that one person was saying that with supply issues being what they are, not to mention the fact that I have COVID, so I have to keep my distance. Silly Sergey says, do I have any ties that link me with the FBI? Not that I know of. Sour Thoughts asks if I can wear a chef hat for immersion. I'm not sure immersion into what. Maybe just sort of get completely into the kitchen. Metalloose 69, if you need brown sugar and only have white sugar, you can add maple syrup. Did not know that. That's a very good. That must be somebody who's actually got some experience in the kitchen there. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our garlic and our ginger in there. Garlic I've dealt with before and it's not crazy difficult. What you're going to do is you're going to take 1 clove or bulb of garlic and you're going to grab your garlic presser, which I don't seem to have. I don't know why I can't find stuff, but I'm just going to cut it. Oh jeez, that thing is terrifying. Alright, I'm going to find this thing. Hold on. I've got it here. Okay. And you just want to use something to put it in there. That's good. And then you're going to have this stuff here. I don't know if you can see. This is sort of the debris that gets left over afterward. You don't want that in there. Okay, so we've got our garlic. Now ginger I haven't really worked with before, but I imagine it works very similarly. I'm just going to take a little piece of it. We're going to add it into our garlic press here. Okay, so let's stir this up into our bowl. I think we're about to the point where we have, I think we can officially say we have our sauce. Now let's see, the directions say add this to the bag and let it sit in the fridge. Okay, so we're going to take this. Sorry, I have sticky hands. I'm going to have to... Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take our bowl of sauce and I'm going to add it to...
Okay.
Thanks, Dismo. I'm trying to do this and demonstrate it at the same time. Which is a little risky. I'm starting to think that this step of shaking the bag is supposed to happen after you put the sauce in there, which is fine, but I think that by shaking it earlier we combined it a little bit, which was nice. Okay, so we're going to put this in the fridge for about 5 minutes, let it cool. The next step is preheat the oven to 400. So Looks like we're preheating the oven again. I don't know how I missed that earlier. It could be that I'm just not performing at 100% with this COVID situation that I've got going on, but let's just jump ahead a little bit here so we don't. You got blindsided again. We're going to cook our cauliflower. Okay, we're going to put our cauliflower on top of a rack of a lined cooking sheet, and we're going to cook for a bit. Don't let juices drop. Okay, so let's grab, while we're waiting for our oven to preheat, we're going to take our cookie sheet. I've got a new cookie sheet that I got at the Goodwill. And we'll take some tin foil, line it. But here's the thing, we're not going to be putting our cauliflower wings on top of this tin foil. That's way too basic. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a wire rack over this whole thing, and that way the heat's going to come up from underneath. Unfortunately, I do not have a wire rack, but I was thinking I do have a tabletop grill that has grates on it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting these grates on top. It makes it very heavy, but I think that's going to work. Now what's going to happen is that the tin foil underneath is going to catch the drippings coming from the the sauce, and this is very important if you're doing this at home. If you're if you're using this method, you cannot let any drippings fall outside of this area, otherwise there will be an explosion. If that sauce falls down into your oven where the flame is, that's going to cause an explosion. So this is where things get a little bit risky, but I've been doing this a long time. I'm going to make sure that our cauliflower stays in this general range. Thanks, Lady Nori. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just start setting it down. We've had it in the fridge for long enough. Let's do this. Make sure it's good and shaken up. I'm going to put it all very safe distance from the outside edges. Safety is very important when you're in the kitchen. When I was a kid, I used to wear a helmet when I would go outside, and I had some friends that were making fun of me about it, but one time I fell when I turned a corner. I tripped on the curb or something like that, and then I hit my head, but I was wearing the helmet, so the joke was really on them. Okay. Okay, so you can see that I have laid this out fairly distant so as not to get sauces outside of that range area. Fuck, that's really heavy. A little worried about it falling off. Alright, you know what a better idea might be is to let it sort of sink into one side of it. Again, I don't want these to be falling out. This is good. So the oven's still preheating, so I guess I gotta wait a little bit for that. And Nam 140 says, I missed the first part of the recipe. What is the marinade? The marinade consists of sriracha sauce with soy sauce, brown sugar, but we used white sugar. Somebody said that you can use maple syrup, which is good too. We put a couple other things in there: rice vinegar, sesame oil. I think that was about it. If you're just joining us now, this is what we're making. And so far, we're looking pretty good. And so we're just waiting for a little Henry's. Is it possible, this is USB 1, to sprinkle a bit of yayo on top? I don't know what yayo is. That's what I do with most of my meals, and it's been working wonders. Yayo sounds like maybe an Asian sauce. I'm not sure. Storms of Shadow is concerned about roast beef. I'll check in on the roast beef cam. I'm getting very sad. I hope before the end of the stream he emerges. He's been sleeping under the sink a lot. Oh, Zod Bane just subscribed. You know what? Let's do a song. Maybe this is a good time for some music. I think I promised some people some songs last time, and if you want to go ahead and just throw out some songs that you might want to hear, we can do that. Here, let me get my guitar here. That was Dr. Blasty Stick. Thanks. Here we go. Some requests for Jose Suicidio. Let's see if I can think of any of those. Nick SX. It's not scrolling. Let's see here. I have a ukulele. This is Microsoft Excel. Is that acceptable substitute? I suppose you could use a ukulele. It's only got 4 strings. Somebody asked for See You in Heaven. I think that's Eric Clapton's song about his child passing away. There's a person as young. I don't know the words. If I saw you in heaven. I know Stairway to Heaven. I don't know the words though. So I usually make it about cooking. There's a guy we all know who's always cooking, so he's buying a stairway to heaven. Let's see here. That's not the real lyrics. Yeah, okay, so this is let's see. Johnny Cash, I think I did that one last time. Holy Guacamole. Holy guacamole, holy guacamole, I just got hit by a car, and you're the one who pushed me in the street, left me in for dead, put me in a coma. Some guacamole me, guacamole you, I just got busted for drugs. me to the Fed, leaving me for dead. How could you be so cruel? Something like that. Help Me by Susie. If I have an orchestra, okay. I can't make you love me. I can't make you love me if you don't. I don't know. Help Me by Suicidio. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I am tired and alone. There's our oven. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I don't like myself anymore. That was somebody requesting that one. Okay, so our oven is ready to go. Brother Man Bill, I'm not familiar with. I'm sorry. I'll look it up. Shoulders of Freaks I've done quite a bit here, so maybe I think it's on some past ones, but I'll do it again at some point. Somebody wants There's Something Wrong With Me. I put a pizza in the microwave. Wait. I don't know. Microwave. Forgot about it for several days. I don't know. I used to know how to do it, but I guess maybe it's the COVID. Let's see here. Somebody wants something from Tom Waits. I'm a big Tom Waits fan. She's up against the register with an apron and a spatula. Yesterday's deliveries and tickets for The Bachelor. She's a moving violation from her conch down to her shoes. That's just an imitation to the blues. Anyway, yeah, I could do those, but really we've got a lot of cooking to do, so I feel like I'm only half into the guitar thing as sort of a, oh, somebody seems to have woken up here, and maybe in sort of a grumpy, sort of mood. Trying to adjust the camera, but it's not going well. So we have the back of roast beef anyway. Okay, all right, this is getting a little bit sloppy here. So let's go ahead and put these in the oven. I've got here our cauliflower buffalo wings, and this is very heavy, so I'm going to try to do this without getting any oil on the situation here. Yeah, we definitely have an unfortunate cat situation. Just going to turn that heat up a little bit. Okay. Let me take a look at some of your questions here. We're going to leave it in there for maybe about 5 minutes, and we're going to make our sauce too, so that's something that's got to happen. These Days by Nico. I don't know that song. Someone says a lot of concern over roast beef. Nebler says, why not stream more days and do some solo music streams? That's a good idea, because it feels like I'm always a little distracted by what's happening in the kitchen, but I'd like to just do some music. And I would like to do more streaming, and just generally have more of my personal hobbies being demonstrated. Worma Kuchin says, "Release me from this hell." Okay. Let's see here. Quattro Head says, "How can it be vegan? It's made from a buffalo." It's actually not. That's a misnomer. The state that it's from is called Buffalo, and I guess originally they had a lot of buffalo, but this is where the dish comes from. German Waffle says, "I'm not very musically talented. Is it okay if my wife sings the songs instead?" That's completely fine. Oh boy. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna have to make some sauce here. Thanks, Uncle Jarf. So let's go ahead and do that. For the sauce, we're gonna get some blue cheese, which I have here.
Okay.
Buzz Axe. Okay. So I'm just going to sort of guesstimate. I don't think we need to be too specific here. But there's our blue cheese. And now we are going to add some of our green onions. So I've done a whole demonstration on how to cut green onions. These green onions are a little on the older side, but this is good because I don't want to waste them. And we're really using it more as just kind of a garnish. But you want to cut them up into just a little less than bite-sized bits, like so. And this is going to go into our blue cheese. Some other questions here. I promise one day I'm going to get good at the chat thing, but it just seems like it's impossible. I don't know how people do it. Somebody, Mr. Vade says, "How do I feel about Hamburger Helper?" I'm not sure I've ever tried it. Sounds good. Hamburger's good. Dusty Navel, read this idiot. I don't know. Jade Cup Made Hands, can you use offie-offs instead of onions? I've never heard of offie-offs. I feel like there's probably a lot of maybe people from Europe using more exotic terms than I'm used to. But I'd like to. If there's an onion replacement called offie-offs, I'd like to check it out, unless I'm misreading it. Okay, so we've got that there. Now let's just stir it up a little bit. Okay. So, oh yeah, and then there's our sesame seeds, which that there too. The sauce is done. I'm going to do a quick check on our food here. Yeah, we've got a little ways to go, unfortunately. Kiro Sivas says, "Do you think that this dish will approve my wife's boyfriend?" Wait, hold on a second. I want to read that one. It scrolled by so quick. Thanks, Blurry Little Quest. Do I think this dish will approve my wife's boyfriend? And boyfriend, there's a little typo there. Or do you mean improve? I'm not sure. Son one, cuss. I bought corned beef, but it didn't have any corn in it. Did I get ripped off? Sounds like it. Fabled Fave, can you use black sesame seeds if you don't have white ones? I've never heard of those, but if there are, then all the better. Quincy99, should I put the onions in if I don't have time to age them? Yeah, these are day-old onions, so they cut a little easier, which is nice. Gigasoy says they don't have a knife, but can they stir with a spoon? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I like to use objects that are not very sharp because I've cut myself so many times in my earlier days of cooking. A spoon, if it's something that like a cauliflower, you could certainly cut with that. I like to use something called a spork, which is a half fork and half spoon, also known as a foon, but it's a spork. Okay. Let's see here. I guess purple donut filling is fruit. Can you milk your own sesame oil? I would imagine you'd need sesame seeds, and you might be able to put them in a blender and get some kind of milk out of them. E-Cray, have you ever cooked with exotic meats such as moose or elk? No. Roast beef did bring in some type of animal one time that was a little gamey, and I thought for a second maybe I could cook it, but it just kind of looked a little nasty, so I wound up throwing it away. So let's see, 2JZ, they say to cook low temperature, slow time. So can I just cook over a really long period of time, no temperature? I would imagine, as long as the math works out in the end. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Still got a little bit of time to go here. What do we have here? 0910. Hi, Henry. Glad I could catch this stream on my birthday. Well, happy birthday. Do you know if the kind of mud matters in a mud cake? Mud cake, I think, is that one of those... like a chocolate cake situation? I would think that the mud is a I mean, I don't know. There's so many exotic types of dishes, and I'm not familiar with how to make that one, but I will say that my guess is that they're probably doing some kind of play on words. I can't imagine they'd use real mud. Karash 006, more and more people are talking about how the mysterious highwayman have never been seen in the same room. Yeah, there's a web series, The Highwayman. Ludo Dan, cats find a use for every part of the animals that they hunt. Roast beef is mad and thrown away. Yeah, no, roast beef is having a very difficult time today. Okay, so I think that we're getting close. We've got this. Let's just see how we're doing up against our picture. They've got some kind of yellow thing in there. I'm not sure what that is, but I think ours looks better, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and pull these things out. I think it's time, and if they're not quite as done as they should be, then that's just going to, I mean, how bad can they be? They're cauliflower. So let's go ahead and pull these out. It's very hot. Wow, it's very difficult to take it out. Ah, shit. Son of a bitch. let you see a little bit of what's happening here. I have a little bit of a situation.
Okay.
Okay, Masalsa just subscribed, thanks. Okay, what I'm concerned about now this thing I'm dealing with some very hot items here.
Okay.
So what we're going to want to do, thanks to the gaff, we're going to put these on our, Whew, these are hot. I think I'm going to use a utensil of some sort. But they smell interesting. This idea of using the grates might have backfired a little bit. They're very heavy, and they smushed some of our. I'm trying not to touch this, but I need to get our stuff. All right. So I don't think I'm going to do that grate thing again. It's kind of a terrible idea. Oh, fuck. So, yeah, so basically instead of buffalo chicken wings, which are famous, as we've talked about and have this sort of interesting origin story, now in 2022 we have evolved and turned it into something called vegan Korean. I guess the Korean comes from the vinegar. Let's just see how we're doing against our. That's not bad. We're not too far off. I think this is going to be pretty delicious, if you ask me. The cauliflower was supposed to be in there for a much longer amount of time. As a matter of fact, it says 40 minutes. So I didn't leave them in there very long. But what are we going to do? You know, it's basically it's going to be a little more raw than it probably normally would be, but I think it'll still be pretty delicious. Let's see. Dip it into the sauce. You know, it works. It's it reminds me of broccoli. Somebody asked about broccoli. I'm going to see if you have any questions here. Kiro Slava says, thank you for the idea of this dish. My wife's boyfriend liked it, and now they told me they need some time alone, so I'm outside my house watching the stream through the window. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that you're watching. That Russian guy says, my daughter made a macaroni dinosaur in school and it passes its days pasted on my laptop screen. When too many messages show up, it starts turning into a nacho cheese torpedo. Okay, thanks. And on 140, what's the difference between broccoli and cauliflower? I'm not sure that there really is. This is basically, what I'm eating here is basically broccoli in disguise as some other kind of thing. Purge the 8th says it's his birthday, or her birthday, or their birthday today. So can you please say happy birthday, Jesse Anime. Happy birthday, Jesse. What can I use if you don't have cauliflower? This is a scarlet bonbon or blue cheese. I'm so helpless. Please let me know what to do. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, Scarlet Bonbon. This is cauliflower, and I'm going to be 100% frank with you. It's not very good. If you have anything else, if the sauce is basically the star of the show. I thought it was going to be the cauliflower, but I'm basically just eating a crustacean with some sriracha sauce on it, and it's not terrible. And I do very much believe in always eat the food that you cook, because if you don't eat it, then who will? But you can replace it. I'm not going to call this one a success, but I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that I still have COVID, even though I don't have any more symptoms. But I'm certainly not going to say this is one of the better things. I think it's basically what we did was we made cauliflower with sriracha and soy sauce, and it was fine. It's not one that I'll be making again, and I might write a letter to the people that put the recipe on the internet. Somebody says, I used hard-boiled eggs in the cloud eggs recipe and whisked it forever, but it didn't get thick and bouncy. Yeah, that was a tricky one. Apparently what some people were saying is that I had too much yolk in my white bowl. Bumblevision says, does broccoli ripen and turn into cauliflower, or does cauliflower ripen and turn into broccoli? Oh, I guess I never knew that. I guess they're probably, as Margaret Thatcher said, two sides of the same coin. So maybe it's similar to how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, or a salamander becomes a frog, a cauliflower becomes a broccoli. Which reminds me, no stream of mine will ever be complete if I don't give some gratitude to the wonderful people who have made this show possible. Mostly it's the people that tune in and ask questions. I obviously enjoy answering cooking questions, because it's sort of, it's my life, it's what I do, and I couldn't be happier to share my knowledge with you. But I also want to thank the moderators, Dingo Bob, Fawcan, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Do Dingle, Dagoggy, Dr. Flanges, and some other folks that have helped out: Bacchus, Daisy Blossom, Melon95, Pilskman. I also want to say thanks to Bumblevision, LGX, and Sir Doom, and my friend Bill Larkin Music, who's got his own amazing channel. And I also always want to thank Nim for having me on his popular streaming show and getting me started with Twitch as a platform. And also to some people who have shared my videos over time, like Forsen and Moon. And also thanks Shane Yes for making clips and putting them out there on Reddit. I really appreciate that. Some of the clips have been seen by a lot of people. So, too kind, Valentine. So it's the middle of the week here, and I hope you're having a good one so far. I've seen better. I mean, it's been 7 days of quarantine, and I'm starting to grow a beard again, and I'm not a happy camper, and I would have liked for this dish to come out a little bit more fancy or interesting, but the reality is it's going to be lunch. I'm basically just eating cauliflower for lunch with some sauce on it. We're going to let's try to do something special. I think Sunday, and I know I promised you guys waffles, but this time I really mean it. Sunday, I'm going to make waffle brunch, maybe with a side of eggs. And I don't know if you guys have ever had waffles without, I don't have a waffle iron, but there is a way that you can make them without a waffle iron. So maybe I'll go ahead and teach you that technique. That's a good one. So, and I'll try to have some more songs and everything. And overall, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody. And I really hope that you have a good week. And in the meantime, we can check the Discord. And I'm trying to interact more on that if you have any questions. And I've seen some amazing fan art and people sharing recipes and everything. So I appreciate all that. So there you have it, folks. This is the dish that we made today, and it's a little bit more, not quite, but you know, when they do these photography situations, they have better lighting and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's always a good idea to go by what the picture looks like. They do Photoshop and all this other stuff. So, but anyway. Thanks everybody, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. Be good to yourselves, and I'll see everybody Sunday at noon Pacific time. And I hope you enjoyed the show.